So yeah, the Kingdom Hearts community is still up in arms and divided down the middle on how Kairi was handled and approached in Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, that's cool I guess, but as I keep looking about both sides of the argument and my own breakdown on what we should expected and how Kairi got treated inside and outside the game, I stumbled upon an intriguing and messed up thought that quickly became a new theory. Hey guys, it's HMK, and as always in this post Kingdom Hearts 3 world, especially when tackling Kairi, huge endgame, no, not that endgame, spoilers ahead, you've been warned. So a little TLDR to get you set up, Kairi was brought into the fold of the Guardians of Light in order to have their forces ready to stand against the Seekers of Darkness, and to protect the 7 pure lights that Xehanort would target if they chose not to fight. Remember that's really important. So Yen Sid sends Kairi off to go train with Lee on wielding their Keyblades, as Kairi can wield one as per the events of Kingdom Hearts 2. When the 7 Guardians of Light are completed, the original team consisted of Sora, Riku, Kairi, Lee, Ventus, Aqua, and Mickey. But during the Keyblade War, Kairi gets taken by Xemnas and eventually is killed by Xehanort himself. Then along comes Sora, abusing the power of Waking, and brings her back at the supposed cost of his own existence. RIP. Okay, now that you're up to speed, check it. Yen Sid knew this was going to happen and simply added fuel to its fire. It's true, think about it. Yen Sid has always seen beyond the scope of events and planned carefully to try and avert or bring about certain eventuality, especially with his apparent ability to read the stars to the effect of occurrences and even the fate of people. Remember Birth by Sleep? Yeah. This won't be the first time an important Kingdom Hearts character that originated from Disney decided to be a jerk and do some messed up for the greater good type nonsense. Ahem, Mickey. The reality is that Kairi wasn't truly sent off to train or really get better with the Keyblade with Lee, as training under Merlin would not make any sense given to no true experienced Keyblade wielder was on the premise. Kairi was sent to a safe zone outside of time and reality to be guarded, and Lee was the perfect guardian, as both Sora and Riku were busy with their own tasks leading into the completion of the Guardians of Light. They didn't have the time or luxury to guard Kairi. Lee was the perfect candidate given that he's already adept with combat experience, and given his history with Kairi, he would go out of his way to protect her, as shown later in the events of the game. And Yen Sid knew about this history and used it to his advantage. Knowing how precious Kairi was as a Princess of Heart and future Guardian of Light, this was all part of the plan. But when you go deeper into this, it gets even more messed up, because when it really comes down to it, knowing how precious Kairi was, still being a Princess of Heart and an obvious target of the Seeker of Darkness anyway, Yen Sid could have laced up the old boots, dusted off some random Keyblade, and become the final member of the Guardians of Light himself. Being a former master, he could have and would have been a pivotal member of the team. But the argument is that he gave up his title of Keyblade Master and that he's too old. Oh gee, I guess you're right. It's not like on the other team, the Seekers of Darkness weren't led by an arguably equally old man who was also a Keyblade Master. Gee whiz. What's all this driving to? Because it had to be Kairi. That was all part of the plan. It had to be her to be a Guardian of Light despite her inexperience. It had to be her to be killed despite her being a precious asset to the world. It had to be her to be returned by Sora despite the terrible cost. Because Yen Sid knew, not just about Kairi's fate, of course not. I wouldn't believe that Yen Sid would send her out to die just to die, but because he knew of the fallout of her dying was tied to a certain other character in the series that's come to be defined by a symbol that we all saw being studied at Yen Sid's tower. That's right, the Master of Masters. Yen Sid helped put into motion and turn the gears of a plan that would have a very specific outcome thanks to a certain set of characters that led into what we saw in the Yozora Secret movie. Yen Sid knew that Kairi, as inexperienced and precious as she is, would die if she fought in the Keyblade War, but he needed her to die in the Keyblade War and not a moment sooner, as that would be a moment in time after the reset that she and Sora accomplished after the Guardians' first defeat at the hands of Terra Xehanort. That was the prime time, because at that point Sora already abused the power of Waking to the brink, and one more abuse could have led him over the edge. So he sent her to be trained with Lee, but in reality had to be protected and guarded by Lee until it was time. Then off she marched to the Keyblade War, knowing that Xehanort would be aware of the relationship between Sora and Kairi. Being the tactician that he was, he would utilize any means to get what he wants, and that she would be slain to ensure the creation of the Keyblade. But what he also banked on is that he himself also knew about the relationship between Sora and Kairi, and that Sora would use the power of Waking to almost any degree to save those he loved, specifically Kairi. Why do you think Yen Sid needed Sora to reclaim the power of Waking so badly, but didn't fully disclose the insane downsides of abusing it or even how to use it properly, because he needed Sora to abuse it and he needed Kairi to die so that Sora would reverse that and be lost, because he needed Sora to fade and end up in this mysterious world to eventually come into contact with the Master of Masters as shown in Yensid's tower. He exploited the fact that Kairi was a Keyblade wielder despite her being a precious princess of heart. He exploited Lee's history with Kairi to keep her safe until it was time to send her off to face eternity. He exploited Sora's ineptitude with the power of waking. He exploited Xehanort's knowledge of Sora and Kairi's relationship. He exploited Sora's willingness to restore Kairi at the cost of his own existence, all to get Sora to be at the perfect place of contact with a certain someone. It was all part of the plan for the Master of Masters. But for what and to what extent? Well, that's a theory for another time. What do you guys think about this one? Did I get you thinking? If so, be sure to like, favorite, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK for more Kingdom Hearts theories. Until the next one, I've been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.